You finish a normal day. You didn't do anything particularly hard.
You sat at your desk, answered emails, scrolled through your phone, had a few meetings.
But when the day ends, you feel completely drained. Not just tired, exhausted. And you wonder what you actually did to deserve this feeling. Most people assume tiredness comes from effort. If you worked hard, you should feel tired. If you didn't, you shouldn't. That's the logic we grow up with. So when you feel exhausted after what seems like an easy day, the natural conclusion is that something's wrong with you. Maybe you're out of shape. Maybe you're lazy. Maybe you just need to toughen up. But that explanation doesn't match what's actually happening in your brain. Tiredness isn't just about physical effort.
It's about something much quieter and much more constant.
Your brain uses energy to do things you don't even notice. And on a normal day, it's doing far more than you realize. Research into cognitive fatigue shows that mental effort depletes resources in the brain, even when you're sitting still.
Every time you make a decision, resist a distraction, switch between tasks, or hold information in your mind, your brain is working.
And that work has a cost. Think about your morning. You wake up and immediately start making choices. What to wear. What to eat. Whether to check your phone.
Whether to reply to that message now or later.
Each of these feels small. But your brain doesn't experience them as small.
It experiences them as tasks that require processing, evaluation, and control.
Then you sit down to work. You open your email.
You read something that requires a response, but you're not sure how to word it, so you pause.
You switch to another tab. You see a notification.
You ignore it, but ignoring it takes effort.
You go back to the email.
You start typing, stop, delete, start again.
None of this feels like work, but your brain is working the entire time. Later, you're in a meeting. You're not speaking, but you're listening. You're also trying to look engaged.
You're managing how you appear on camera.
You're resisting the urge to check your phone. You're following the conversation even though half of it doesn't apply to you. All of this requires active regulation.
Your brain is holding your attention in place, and that holding has a cost.
By the afternoon, you might notice that simple things feel harder. Deciding what to have for lunch feels like too much. Answering a straightforward question takes longer. You reread the same sentence 3 times. This isn't because the tasks got harder.
It's because your brain has been working all day, and it's running low on the resources it uses to stay focused and regulated.
The part that makes this so confusing is that you didn't do anything dramatic. You didn't solve a crisis. You didn't run a marathon. You just lived a normal day. And because the effort was invisible, it doesn't feel like it should count. But your brain doesn't care whether the effort was visible. It only cares that it happened. This creates a strange and uncomfortable realization. You can feel completely exhausted without doing anything you traditionally call tiring. And because our culture ties tiredness to visible effort, you're left feeling like your exhaustion isn't valid. Like you don't have the right to be this drained. Research on decision fatigue and ego depletion suggests that self-control and focus draw from a limited pool of mental energy. The more you use that energy throughout the day, the less you have available for later tasks. This is why you might handle a work problem calmly in the morning, but feel irritated by a small inconvenience in the evening. It's not that you've changed. It's that you've spent the day managing yourself, and there's less left to manage with. The truth is, a normal day is not an easy day. It's a day filled with low-level mental effort that never stops. You're constantly navigating decisions, distractions, and demands. You're regulating your attention, your emotions, your behavior. You're doing this in every conversation, every email, every moment you're trying to stay on task. And none of it feels like effort because you've been taught that effort should be loud and obvious. This doesn't mean you're fragile. It doesn't mean you can't handle a normal day. It just means your brain is doing more than you've been giving it credit for. And when you feel tired, it's not a sign of weakness. It's a sign that something real happened, even if no one else can see it. There's no fix being offered here. This isn't about learning to manage your energy better or optimizing your routine. It's just about understanding what's actually going on. You're not imagining the exhaustion. You're not broken. You're just experiencing the hidden cost of being awake and engaged in a world that constantly asks your brain to work. So the next time you finish a quiet, uneventful day and feel completely emptied out, you don't need to question yourself. You just need to recognize what actually happened. Your brain was working the whole time. And now it's tired. That's all.